Hello, and welcome everyone to the Talking Stick Show. My name is Dale, and I welcome you to this show, and I'd like to thank all the listeners who've been watching before. Thank you so much for your support, and if you like what you see, please subscribe and please share and comment. The feedback will be much appreciated. So I am joined today by a special guest called Christian Jensen. Hello, Christian.
Hello there. Great to be here, Dale. Thank you.
How are you doing today?
Me, I'm really good. I'm quite chilled out at the moment. It's beautiful weather, and I'm looking forward to heading off up to my allotment again this afternoon.
Oh, beautiful. So, for all of those listening, Christian, tell us a bit about yourself and what you do.
So my name's Christian, and I am a sound therapist, Reiki, meditation and mindfulness practitioner. And my business is Sound Journey by Christian. So I host regular group and one-to-one sound therapy sessions, Reiki, open for bookings for corporate well-being, school well-being, healthcare community talks and workshops with sound, and looking into getting to schools for didgeridoo workshops and things, as well as all sorts of retreats are available to be booked for, where I host 1.5 hour sessions for your retreat with the sound therapy, with the array of instruments that I have before me. Beautiful.
And so you said you trained in Reiki. Which Reiki are we talking about?
So the Reiki I trained in, I've done up to my level 3 and 4 of the angelic.
Yeah.
And I have also done up to level 2 for the practitioner aspect of the Usui Reiki.
Oh, beautiful. So what got you onto the path of spirituality?
To be quite honest, going back in a way, my mum is actually quite spiritual, to be fair, as well. It's probably something that I never really noticed to start off with for many years. She kind of kept me quite quiet, but she read lots and lots of different books and things, and I was quite drawn in at an early stage to that extent with some of the books that my mum had, but going further down the line, I connected with the openness of it all, and the understanding that there is certainly something so much more. It just felt like it resonated with me really, really deeply on a subconscious kind of level.
Beautiful. And your ancestors are from is it Norway?
Yes, I have some from Norway. I'm a little bit of a mixed bag, personally, to be quite honest. I mean, I was born in Wales, brought up in Wales. I now live in Harrogate in North Yorkshire.
Yeah.
Currently. But my relatives, my mum was born and brought up in Acocks Green area in Birmingham, moved to Wales at an early age with her parents.
Yeah.
My dad was actually born in Scotland.
Oh, nice. A nice bit of mix.
And I think at the age of about 2 weeks, he moved over to Norway with his family, with his parents. And he was brought up primarily in Norway, but moved back over to the UK himself in the early 70s.
Beautiful. So what was it like for you as a child then, seeing the world through your eyes? And this is a question I'm going to be asking each week, just to kind of get a bit of inner child energy into the space. So how was it for you as a child growing up, and what was the world like at that time from your perspective?
So for me, it certainly wasn't without its fun times.
Yeah.
And it was amazing at home overall. It was brilliant. Just so much kind of going on, so much happening. I really enjoyed my childhood. There were tinges where I was affected by bullying and things as I was growing up, and all sorts. When I got to high school and stuff like that. But when I look back on those sorts of things now, I see those as challenges that I've overcome, and they are part of what has made me who I am. But at home, I still get told these stories now as well, to be fair. I remember being sat in my bedroom, and I had a setup on the side there in my bedroom where I'd even put a sign up on the door saying no entry to anybody, because at that moment in time, I was live on air on the radio, CJ the DJ, and things like that. So I would literally sit there in my bedroom playing music over the radio, and I would be reading the news from excerpts of the newspaper that I had in front of me.
That's nice.
So I got up to all sorts, really, and yeah, it was good.
Beautiful. And going back to your mum, I've got one of her pictures she made. She's done like the artwork for the picture, and I've got a poem which is on my little sacred mantle piece in my room.
Cool.
So it's it's a beautiful little piece. It's a Native American poem about the piece of the pipe of peace. It's really cool.
I have that up on the shelf here actually somewhere. I might be able to read that if you want me to.
Yeah, definitely. We'll go into it a bit later on.
Anyway.
So, Christian, how are you finding at the moment with the COVID-19 in your business? How is this affecting you?
So for me, it's been quite testing, because obviously I can't get out there and bring the one-to-one kind of sessions. I can't do the live group sessions as I normally would within any studios or anywhere. So it's been quite a challenge, but I've had to take some time to kind of take stock and just figure things out. I generally am quite a placid kind of person, quite level-headed in that respect, and I think quite logically usually with things. But there was a brief point where I did begin to feel a little bit more panicky about where things were going and how to get around things and how to work stuff out. But I took stock. I took the plunge into the online aspects, such as this with Zoom, and got myself a microphone, did lots and lots of different tests, and it's been amazing to actually figure out certain settings where I'm able to take my sound baths online. So seeing that now as an opportunity as well to reach much further, almost on a global scale, I guess.
Your jobs. I remember, Christian, remember speaking to you when you were in your job before, and you were so stuck with the karma of that job and not obviously everything which comes with it. So it's great to be able to have this moment of reflection, to be able to spend time with ourselves and really figure out what we want to do. And like I was saying before, we were speaking before the show, I was saying how good it is for marketing aspects of our business there, so we can fine tune these marketing sides. So I've actually taken a course on marketing, a diploma in marketing, because I'm so interested in it now, and I don't think I would have done it if it wasn't for COVID-19. So there are some very positive things to come out from the COVID-19, and it's always good to hold that positivity inside ourselves instead of seeing so many negatives. So moving forward, so what is Sound Journey, Christian?
So sound therapy for me is the best way to describe sound therapy is it's a variety of sounds which are played and they affect you through the frequency and the vibrational aspects of those sounds being played. So the best way to describe something like that is if you can imagine a pebble being thrown into water, and you see the rings that are sent out from that central point of that pebble as it hits that water.
Yeah.
If you can visualize that being in the sense of the sound, and something like an instrument such as the Himalayan singing bowls being struck, then you can imagine that sound has to go somewhere. So that vibration and that frequency has to travel somewhere away from the instrument. So that travels through the air, and when it hits an object, it doesn't just stop at that object, it doesn't end at that object. So whether that object is a solid item or whether it is something more fluid, such as ourselves, our human body, as the makeup and the build-up of our body being mostly water and energy and so on. So it doesn't just stop there, it enters the aura and the biofield. It also then works through into the body and affects the cells. So at a very deep level, it affects you on a cellular level, where it can shift any stuck energy and realign the chakras and boost your energy overall and your overall well-being. It also affects you from the perspective of you actually hearing those sounds, those notes that are being played. So those notes, they'll hit your ears, they'll enter your brain, they'll be affected. Then they'll be affecting the neurons in the brain. So the neurons are effectively the building blocks of the brain. Yeah, and the way that they are affected is that they are firing an electrical signal. That electrical signal is called brain waves, known as brain waves. You've got gamma, beta, theta, alpha, and delta brainwave frequencies. Each of those are at different levels of speed, those frequencies. So if you imagine a graph like an earthquake kind of graph, and you see all the lines that are going along on it, and the closer they are, that represents the top end, so your gamma kind of end of the brainwave frequency, really, really close lines together. Whereas to the bottom end of the scale, you'll have the delta brainwave frequency. And that you will see on a graph as it's played out be more spaced out and more gentle and slow. So that in essence is when the instruments are played, they help to lower the brainwave frequency, which means that you are going into a much deeper state of relaxation. When you get down to that lower state of relaxation, it enables your body to help to heal itself and to recover and rest appropriately.
Beautiful, beautiful. So it's something we all share since even birth. When we were in the fetus in the mother's womb, we heard the heartbeat.
Yes.
So it's sound is something we share. Everyone shares, and even on the radio or your favourite song, it's such a potent healing energy, and it resonates with so many people on this planet, because sound, from my perspective, is another form of light. It's a totally different form of light, and it's beautiful and great.
It's energy, vibration, and frequency with it. And when you're touching upon something like when we're in the womb, we actually start to hear from around about the 4.5 months. So you are really connecting with that sound very, very quickly within the womb.
Yeah.
And any sounds that your mother carrying you would hear, anything that they will hear, you will then be picking up on. Her body will be picking up on, and it's taken down into you as the baby within the womb.
Beautiful, man, beautiful. Yes, it's funny. The baby's in the womb space, hearing the heartbeat, and when it's birthed into this reality, it cries and screams because it's not got that heartbeat anymore. So all the fetus is hearing is bum 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 bum. And the Native American shamanic approach is, so the drum and the instruments do connect us to a part of the heartbeat of the Earth Mother. So when we go through this drumming ritual, when we go into a drum, into a journey, we connect back to the fetus and we get that infinite energy. So
and the drum itself is known very, very clearly to be tuned effectively to the delta brainwave frequency. So that is the one amongst all of the other instruments, that is one that I can say absolutely can pretty much guarantee to take you down into that delta frequency, that really, really deep state of healing. The theta kind of frequency above that is the area where you're kind of on your lucid dreaming kind of state.
Yeah.
It's either when you're just kind of waking up or just falling off to sleep. The one above, again, your beta, is where you're in your awakened state. You might experience stress, depression, all sorts of different things like that. But the delta is the deep healing.
Beautiful, Beautiful. So what instruments were you playing from an early age? Were you into flutes, drums? What happened with your music journey? What did you get into at first?
So because I'm left-handed,
yeah,
and as much as I may have really wanted to learn to play something like the guitar or something similar, I didn't feel so drawn, because the thing that kind of stopped me at the time was books and having to read the notation and follow the music, because they were always written for somebody in a right-handed kind of aspect. And for me to mirror image that, I found really, really difficult. So I was more drawn to instruments where I didn't have to learn music to play. I didn't have to learn and read music to be able to play that instrument. And I guess you could say, therefore, that it really felt like I was more following my heart space in that sense, with how I was drawn to an instrument. And so the very first instrument that I ever really got drawn to personally is an instrument called the didgeridoo. So traditional Australian instrument, and it's just absolutely beautiful, stunning and amazing to play that kind of instrument. I also played the African djembe as well. I got drawn into playing the djembe because my mum played the djembe, and she actually performed with a group as well for a good number of years, and she learned with that group and went out on stage places out in the local town and things. And it's just something that I really felt like I resonated with, and I loved that instrument too. But then I've built up lots of other different instruments along the way, which I've been drawn to for various reasons, whether it be just liking the sound or connecting with the history of it, or for whatever reason, and amassed so many. Yeah.
Beautiful. So your heart's guided to you where you need to be now. That's beautiful, yes. Christian.
Absolutely. Lovely. I've gone through some strange times and some tight spaces, and
we all have.
Like we all do.
Yeah,
it's all part of the journey. But I'm
really
grateful for all those aspects, and to be where I am though, right here, right now, is just amazing, and I just feel the gratitude, the love, and the power for that.
Beautiful. Back to a moment when I was a kid, I used to go on my skateboard, and to escape from reality, I used to put electronic music on, and it used to make me so happy. And whatever was going on at home, whatever was going on at school, I was fine when I put my headphones on and I was listening to the music. And there were certain triggers when I grew up of like the didgeridoo or the drum or some sound, which kind of, it felt like it opened up a lot of DNA memory for me and kind of brought back maybe past life memory. Me and Chris has been to Christian's events in Harrogate a while back when I first met Christian, and it was so nice to be able to hear such a wide range of sound. And it's great that this sound connects us, and this sound brings us all closer together. So it really is beautiful. So Christian, let's talk about your one-to-one sessions, brother. So tell us a little bit more about that.
So with the one-to-one sessions, I can work on a far more personal kind of level with the client, and I can help take them on a journey to really kind of discover their deep kind of self, I guess, in a way. We work with them on in such a way that it can affect you with the sound on a very personal level, whether that be on an emotional, physical, mental or spiritual kind of level. We work with it to help to adjust any imbalances that might be within your aura, within your biofield, your chakras, and the general feel and overall well-being of your mind, body and soul. So we work deeply to help to adjust, to help to clear any blockages, and like I say, whether they be emotional, mental, physical, whatever they are, they can sometimes be really, really deeply set and deeply buried, and it might even be something that you don't really know is actually there, but it's manifesting in some way that you cannot understand, whether that be, like I say, a physical or an emotional aspect, whatever it is. We can help to bring that out with sound and to shift that energy on a very deep level to help clear it and help you to then go on to clear it and move forward on your journey in life. So the way that we do that is we will set out a therapy bed where you will then lay upon that therapy bed. You are fully clothed at the time. There's no need to have any other kind of aspect to that. You just remain comfortable upon the bed. You can, if you wish, you close your eyes and you just allow yourself to absorb those sounds, to allow your energy field to absorb those sounds. And if I do find anywhere that might be stuck or trapped in any way and that I feel that I need to work on a deeper level, I will be able to do that. The way that we can generally do that initially is that I will use something like the tuning forks, and I will use those tuning forks by striking them and then moving them across your energy field. And if I do find an imbalance, what will tend to happen is I might feel it quite abruptly first, but most occasions it will kind of cause the tuning forks to either jump and strike together, kind of bounce together within that magnetic kind of field, or they might just be forced away from the body. So I know that there is then an imbalance at that point I then need to work upon. So I will then help to concentrate on that specific area to help shift anything that might be trapped at that point. So it works on a really, really deep level, emotional, physical, mental and spiritual. And there is always some ongoing aspects to that, and a number of treatments might be required to assist you on your journey to a better life, much more open and better well-being in general overall.
Beautiful. And so how long for a one-to-one?
So the one-to-one sessions usually will generally take about an hour, usually a minimum of an hour I will always give. They can take sometimes a little bit more. It might be an hour and a quarter, an hour and a half tops. It depends on the day, on your situation personally. Yeah. So I will work with that, but I will always allow at least afterwards as well for you to just sit if you need to sit, and we can chat, whether that be on phone or personally there as well, just to allow you the time to be.
Beautiful. So if you had any experiences you wish to share, you don't have to say any names or anything, you've one-to-one where something big's happened, something they've really cleared a lot of dense energy from themselves.
I was at a Mind, Body and Spirit event back in early December last year, and it was the first time I was doing some proper tasters at that kind of event, and I had several people come through the day who lay up on the bed, and I gave them each approximately a 20-minute taster kind of experience with the one-to-one sessions. Every single person was different in how they reacted. We're all individual. We're all one, but we are all individual with our issues and with any entrapments that we may have and any imbalances that we may have as well. So everybody is different in that sense, and will react differently. So some people, you might find that nothing really happens at all, certainly not immediately perhaps, but it might happen a day or two later as well, because it goes on and lasts for a few days as well, and beyond, as you journey through any issues you may have that might rise up at the time. But one person in particular, and it's something that I was trained for and prepared for through my training with the Sound Healing Academy, and also online with the Centre for Excellence with the Sound Therapy Diploma that I did. But one person in particular, we went right the way through the session, that 20-minute taster, and it all went what seemed like really, really smoothly and very relaxed, very deep kind of session. Right at the very, very end, as I tapped her on the shoulder just to bring her back around, bring her awareness back to the room and the space and surroundings, I says to her just to take her time, to get back up, whatever time you need. And then within moments, I could see that she'd burst into tears. Now those tears, I know, are not because of anything I've done. It's in the sense that I have worked and I have actually shifted something on a really deep emotional level. And she was there for quite a while, a good 5-10 minutes afterwards. And I think her boyfriend actually came over as well. He noticed from the other side of the room that there was something going on. He did come over and support her as well. But I just stood with her and just talked her through to keep her calm, allow her that moment in space and that time just to help bring up that energy and just to release those emotions. She didn't know where they had come from. She didn't realise that it was there at that moment in time, and it took her by surprise. But I was there to support, and we worked through it. And she then went on to ask me to come back to do a full session for her as well, and that was early in the new year. And then of course we went into lockdown, so we haven't been able to connect again for things like that recently. Yeah. But yeah, it really shifted something, and she told me afterwards how it really resonated with her and it helped her on her journey forward.
Beautiful, beautiful. And it's surprising how much DNA memory can be activated through the sound. So say you're playing one instrument and you connect to one of the traumas and you're able to kind of release that energy from the body. And it's great to be able to cry. I find it hard sometimes to cry. When I have ceremony, when I go into a deep space within myself, I usually find some tears, and I do feel that crying is important if people need to cry. And a lot of people stop themselves crying. Like, do you remember, as me as a kid, I always used to do it. When I was about to cry, I stopped myself and I said, I just don't cry, because that was the kind of the ego coming in and saying, because I'm a boy, I don't cry and stuff like that. So it's great for you to be able to explain that the sound therapy is able to help.
Likewise for me, yeah, it was the same for me. I used to stop myself from crying as well, and it was the ego. You kind of told, aren't you, that that as a man, as a guy, you shouldn't cry.
Yeah.
But all you're doing is you're just burying those issues deeply, and when you bury those issues, it kind of brings it back at a later point in life to some extent, perhaps even in a more physical aspect where you might experience some kind of ailment in an area within your body, within your energy flow, because you have buried those emotions and those connections. And when you bury them, you think you've let go of them, you think you've put them behind, and that you're fine, you're okay. But deep down, they are still manifested there. They are still holding there, and at the end of the day, they're holding you back. So, as well as any other things that might be going on, if you don't release those emotions, then you will find that you struggle to really, truly, and deeply move forward.
That's it, and it can manifest into a disease. It can manifest. I'm not saying all cancers can manifest from this. There's loads of different ways you can get cancer, but one of the many ways is for you to be able to not release a trauma, and for this trauma to really dig deep into your intestinal tract, into your liver, and it manifests as cancer or manifests as a disease. So it's so important, like Christian said, to do the inner work and to realize if we have emotions, it's so important to be emotional. Like I was thinking back when I was a kid, I used to see my dad and he never cried. His mum died, he never cried. And I always looked at that and saw that in my subconscious mind. And I always thought, right, I don't cry because that's what men do. So it's great to be. What's your thoughts on this, Chris Adams? What's your thoughts on crying and releasing and stuff like that? What's it from your perspective?
It was pretty much the same for me as well. Yeah. It's almost like I think for a while when I left university and when I started to go through the spiritual awakening, there was like this stuck energy that was coming out so much that the energy would be coming up, but it was almost like I went through a phase of like trying so hard to cry, but I couldn't.
Yeah.
And it would just stay in and be locked in, and it was hard. It was hard times, but eventually it's stabilized in other ways, and I think the programming for guys is, you're rough and tough, if you cry, you're weak, and that's kind of this subtle programming that's just placed upon us.
Whereas if we actually allow ourselves to release, to cry, then I now see that more than ever, not as a weakness, but as a strength.
Definitely, bro. Yeah.
It is without a doubt a strength. And when you say there, Chris, about almost forcing yourself to cry, I have had that myself in a way as well, and you feel as though you want to, but you don't know how to truly. But then when you connect with your heart space and you really begin to open yourself up and just allow yourself that release, be gentle with yourself and be honest with yourself, and you find that it comes. You find that you do begin to release. But with the sound itself, that the sound helps with something like that. It helps to really get so deeply within the cells that it does shift, and the support is always going to be there as well afterwards. Beautiful. To help you on that journey.
Beautiful. And it's really needed at the moment, especially with everything going on. We really need something like sound therapy to be able to help us. I see sound therapy as a kind of a medium for you to be able to connect to the infinite energy. So thank you for that, bro. And
I locked myself away. I locked myself away as well for so many years, and it has been such a journey to undo all of that in that sense. And that I guess goes back to my childhood. It goes back to being bullied at school and things like that, and other things that happened where you lose your confidence and you lose your path in a sense. You struggle to find your true self, and you begin to kind of blame yourself, and you wonder, why me? What is it that I have done? Whereas when you begin to open your eyes a bit more and look around you and see that actually it's not your fault. In essence, it's nobody's fault. Everybody's on a journey. Yeah. And somebody might strike out at you because they don't know how to deal with any emotions or any struggles that they might have. So if you begin to just accept that as a way of, well, as it not, it's the understanding that they have issues themselves, and accept that it is an issue that they might not realise, that they don't understand themselves, and just allow it to be, and know that it is not your fault at all. That is one of the very first steps to just beginning to assist you on your journey, and again, the sound can help you to realise that it works that deeply, that it just starts to shift your perspective. And from where I was to where I am now, like I said at the beginning, I have such gratitude for it, and it has been an amazing journey so far, and I just want to reach out there with all my heart to help in whatever way I can.
Beautiful. So going back to the childhood and being in school, so it seems to me like there's a lot of disconnection when we go to school. Say we start in primary school and then we go into secondary school. We can do musical classes, but it's hard for people. Like, even for my own sake, like, I've found it hard. I wanted to do the drums and guitar, but because my parents were paying for one thing, they wouldn't pay for another thing. So I wanted to do the drumming straight away in year 7. I remember I said I want to play the drums. I want to be really a master at the drums. And they said, oh, you can't do that because it costs a lot of money. So I do feel the children, it's hard for them when you talk about bullying or the bullies and so on and so forth. There's such a lack of healing in the school system. There's such a lack of awareness and speaking and being honest with each other. Because I remember when I was a teenager, I just grew up and I was so I didn't really love myself at all. I didn't know who I was. I didn't know where I was going. They were showing me this lesson, that lesson. I didn't really care what I was doing. And it seems to be there's a big loss in healing and helping the children. And even through sound, brings back to a question, Christian. You've actually gone into schools yourself, haven't you, and done some sound.
I have done some in some schools, and I find that the children are so open to wanting to learn and to understand the instruments. They're inquisitive about it, and it seems to be very, very natural within when you give them that opportunity. I've enabled them to have that kind of situation of experiencing just sitting there, or laying there if they wanted to as well, but just sitting there primarily and just experiencing little tasters. It might only be 20-30 minute kind of tasters. It can be whatever is required at the time, whatever is suitable or possible at the time. But in most occasions it might be only about half an hour where I will play some of the instruments, because I know that children can't always sit still for too long. But it is becoming something more and more accessible and available now, and recognised, to give them that opportunity to be able to sit, to experience a little bit of meditation, a little bit of sound, whatever it may be. And it's shown to be so beneficial with their grades and help them to concentrate far more as well, and more relaxed and at ease with each other and themselves. So they'll experience that little bit of a sound kind of taster with the instruments that I have. And then when I finished that, they've come running over and gathering over and wanting to look closer at all of the instruments and to see what instruments it was that I was using and playing. They've become so fascinated by them.
Beautiful. And it's funny how the children, like, I was doing a ceremony with my kids a few days ago, and they pick up guided meditation so easily because they're in the moment. They're not limited by, when we grow up, we've got all these concepts. We have to make money. We have to worry about this. We've got rent to pay. We've got this and that and that. And it feels like the children grow up and they get their innocence taken out of them through the world we live in. And it's great to see the children pick things up so easily. It's like languages. If you teach a child a language at the age of 8, they can learn up to 5 languages really easy. And it's how we grow up and when we go into this adulthood life that the ego kind of takes over a little bit and it stops us from able to heal. And it's great that the sound journey and the music can help us really connect with that young energy again, and that innocence and the joy of the world and the relaxing and letting go. A lot of people find it so hard to let go and to be able to surrender to the universe. And sound is a great way to be able to relax and wind and surrender.
It helps. Yeah, it helps you. It helps you to really relax. It's obviously working on a much deeper level. With the resonance, with the frequency, the vibrations and everything. But at the top end of it, it's first and foremost allowing you that time and space to just be in the moment, to relax and experience that deep state of relaxation, that deep state of meditativeness, just to allow you that moment and space of stillness.
Beautiful. So going on to your sound group, the journeys you do, can you tell us a little bit about what happens there, Christian?
So yes, again with the group sessions, it's still working on a deeper level. It's always working on a deeper level with the sounds. The vibrations do, the frequencies do, everything works on that deep level with you, but it's not as personal and individual. With the group sessions, the people will come in. Ideally, they will come in and they will lay down on a yoga mat. If they are not able to lay down, then it's perfectly acceptable for them to be seated. It's whatever is most comfortable for you as an individual at the end of the day. So you'll come into the space, you will primarily lay down, cushion for your head, blanket over you, and if you wish, there are eye masks available as well, bolsters available for you to really make yourself as comfortable as you possibly can in that space at that time. I will then introduce the session by beginning with a short piece of talking meditation to help you just to begin to get into that state of relaxation, that mindset of being able to let go, of to be in that moment, the here, the now, and switching off from anything else that's out and around you that might be going on. If you have any thoughts going through your mind at the time, I will always say to you to just recognise those thoughts, but again, just let it go, let it be, and allow yourself to just be in that space, in that moment. That short piece of meditation will begin with recognising the breath, and just allowing you to then recognise where you might be holding any tension, where there might be any issues at any point in time, and allowing you to hold that thought to help you to release that energy at that point in time. I will then go through into the variety of instruments I have before me, which at any one time can be anything as much as up to 30 instruments currently. It's quite a large variety. I primarily use handpan, didgeridoo, native American flutes and shamanic drum, as well as the Himalayan singing bowls. But there's lots of other smaller instruments that are added in there, including shakers and things, which help as part of the experience and the journey of relaxation. So I'll work through the variety of instruments. I will then, at the very end, hold space again for a moment or two. As soon as those instruments stop, there will be complete silence for a moment or two. I'll then begin to bring you back into the room and into the space and surroundings by another short piece of talking meditation. Once I have done that, there's absolutely no rush whatsoever for you to get up, to sit back up and to vacate the space. You take the time that you need as an individual, and it just helps to bring that deep relaxation into the space. You always feel the energy as well, clear energy that feels available. You feel the raised vibrations of that beautiful warmth and energy that's within the space. And again, it will take you on a journey, and everybody's journey is individual. Some people go on a very deep, relaxed state. Other people will see visions of colours, and others might even have dreams and be taken through some kind of really deep journey. I've had an experience of one, for example, saying that they had visions of, for whatever reason, and I don't know the reason, but they had visions of being chased by a bear through the woods. And I don't know why that happened for them, but only they can know, only they can find out, and it might be a number of days afterwards that they find out and they realise that it connects with something on their path and on their journey. Others, I've had feedback where they've been taken down into, the best way to describe it is to be taken down into the primordial consciousness. So it's just taking them really, really deeply off somewhere into such a deep state of relaxation and meditation that you will feel an enhanced energy afterwards. And for the days afterwards, you will feel that enhanced energy, that depth of energy, that revitalization that you experience with it. It's just absolutely amazing, beautiful energies, and I love doing what I do.
Beautiful.
I love seeing the experiences that people have. It affects me as well. It affects me, the sound affects me, always. But being in that energy, in that room with a group of people, in that same space, I really feel that. And it's just phenomenal.
Beautiful.
And you're sharing it together as well. You're sharing that moment together.
Beautiful. And Chris Adams, how's your experience of Christian's sound journey?
Yeah,
what was it like for you?
I always love Chris sound journeys. I've not been to many in the past, Actually, no, I actually have. Maybe I'd say altogether maybe a different, different facilitators potentially. I think or maybe 6 or 7. But like, Chris has had very like a wild like it just in a forest somewhere like a very Aboriginal as well. Obviously using a lot of Aboriginal instruments and it's beautiful, very very. The way you like you're the ones I've been to I haven't been to one in ages, brother, but you bring in all sorts of different sounds and it's almost like they sound like an animal or some you get this like shaking or this like a rattle of a brush or like not a brush, like a bit of a tree or something. It's beautiful. It really feels like there's something rustling in the bushes and you're like in your own like deep state and you can hear this. It feels like an animal. Many times I've been in dream state, in your sessions, and it feels like there's like little creatures like walking around in the bushes around me. It's beautiful. How about you, Dale? Have you been to one?
Yes, I've been to a few. Me and Christian. So I've been to a few in Harrogate, and when we've done an event together where we did. Christian did a sound journey, and I did a group psychic surgery as well, and it worked really well. So did like a relaxation technique at the start, called in protection. Then as Christian took us on the sound journey, I was then doing the psychic surgery on a group. I think there was probably about eight or 9 of us, and it was phenomenal for us to be able to have both of our skill sets combined and kind of in a sacred space. And I've actually just been to one of his events a few days ago on Zoom, which was phenomenal. It was great to be able to have access to your music through online because of the situation at the moment. It's fairly hard to be able to go out and meet people. And so I've been to quite a few of Christian's events, and it's really good for me because it takes me on a personal journey of really understanding about myself and where I want to be. And some sounds resonate with me more than the others. Some sounds activate more DNA more than the others. So it really is good because, like you say, the rain. I love when like you feel like you're in the rain, and it's kind of like all the change of frequencies, and each instrument has a different frequency, and it's so nice to be able to listen to the frequency of this and that, and it's not just all the same all the way through. It's got different styles and different frequencies. So yeah, for me it's phenomenal. And we're going to be I'll be starting at York Yoga Centre in a few months' time when this is all over. So me and Christian, we've spoken, we're going to be able to do something there at some point together because it's phenomenal working with him and sharing the space with you, brother. So going back into the group sound journeys, so going a bit into the instruments, should we start with the Himalayan singing bowl, Christian? What's that?
So Himalayan singing bowls, they're amazing instruments. The frequencies are phenomenal that you get. They're all individual as well, and when I've the bowls that I have, I've got about 7 or 7. I think it's 7. Yes, 7. I have got them here, but like sometimes you just think it's like, oh, you get those mind blocks still all the time. We all get it, but yeah, I've got 7 singing bowls to date, and each bowl is in a different note and different frequency. Those notes affect the individual chakras, so I've got one pretty much for each chakra now at this stage, and I'm always looking for more to get more, and I will get more as well. They're just amazing, the frequency that they vibrate out at, the energy that they give off as well. They work so deeply with the frequencies to really get into your cells and help to realign. Singing bowls, when it comes to something like a one-to-one session, I can also place them directly upon the body. So you get that immediate feeling of that vibration upon the body as well, and the resonance working so deeply and helping to release the emotions and things as well. So yeah, they're amazing instruments. I'll pick one up right now. and strike it once. And literally, when you strike them, it's. I find it phenomenal how long they carry on for as well. So I've got this one here. It's a beautiful, quite a shiny new singing bowl that I've got. Actually, this one, very recently purchased. It's tuned to the note E. So the note E is for your solar plexus, and your solar plexus obviously affects the immediate surroundings, the immediate area, so your stomach and your liver, your kidneys, things like that. But it also connects with the note E. It's been found to connect and help on a much deeper level with how it's affecting your brain as well. So it has been found to actually help on a scientific level with things like Alzheimer's and dementia. And when I start thinking quite deeply into something like that, you are obviously hearing the sound and the frequency. You're hearing it physically, and that's assisting with the brainwave frequencies. But the connection with that particular note, with the note E, and how it might be affecting your brain and the Alzheimer's, in respect of Alzheimer's and dementia, is because it'll be transmuting via the vagus nerve as well, and helping to clear any energies through the vagus nerve. So if I literally hit this note once, you just feel and hear how long that goes on for. Each time those waves travelling out from the bowl, connecting with you, hearing the sounds, but on a vibrational and frequency level, hitting the body, entering into the body and getting down to that cellular level. Shifting the energies. It's one of the primary instruments I work with, both with the group sessions but also on a one-to-one level.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Yeah, I love how long it goes on for. It's great. It's just like wah, 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 wah. It's like you're there doing that, but you're not.
Yeah. Others I've got, there are two of the singing bowls that I've got. I often play them together as well. So I'll start one off and then I'll bring the other one in.
Yeah.
Because when you start looking into how the notes work together and how each frequency, when you've got two bowls that are going at the same time, one will tend to balance the other one out to some extent, and that's to do with the resonance, and it's to do with, trying to think of the word now. The word has gone for a moment.
So you're talking about the Schumann resonance?
Yes, it's the resonance of two instruments and how they balance each other out, and they will affect both your ears. Hear sounds at a slightly different level.
Okay.
So one will be heard from one note and the other from the other one, and they balance each other out and bring back. They counterbalance each other.
Okay.
And that's how they kind of affect you on that deep level. But those two bowls that I play, they are tuned to the note G and C, and both those notes played together create what you call a perfect fifth on the musical scale. Hence why they balance out and sound so beautiful together.
Yeah, beautiful. Beautiful. So moving now forward onto one of my personal favourites, the old ditch. Didgeridoo.
Didgeridoo, yes, it's an absolutely amazing instrument. It's not easy to play. There's certainly an art to playing the didge.
A lot of breath.
Takes a lot of breath. You need lungs, certainly, to be able to play it. It's just a phenomenal instrument, though. It's a very deep, healing instrument. And the didgeridoo originates from Australia. It originates from the tribal Aborigine peoples of Australia, and primarily from the Northern Territories. It's not everywhere in Australia, or it never was. It might be more readily available now, but traditionally it was primarily the Northern Territories, the Arnhem Lands of Australia.
Okay.
It is absolutely known to be at least 2,500 years old, up to 4,000 years old, but there are signs and evidence from cave drawings and the likes of, where it points to the potential for the didgeridoo to actually be as much as 40,000 years old.
Wow.
So when you put that into context and start thinking about that, I find that just absolutely awe-inspiring. It's been around such a long time as a tribal instrument, primarily as a healing instrument. You see videos, you might be able to go on to places like YouTube and do some searches for the didgeridoo and the native peoples as well, and how they play them. But you will find that they primarily play them for the healing aspects. And they will often hold them up to the heart space as well, and so the instrument is directed at the heart space, at that deep resonance. Now the chest area of your body as well is the area where you will experience the deepest of resonance. It's the largest cavity on your body as well, so you will feel that vibration so deeply in that area. And that has the knock-on effect to the whole body on that basis. So the didgeridoo is just... I love it. I love playing it, and I've played it for nearly 25 years, or somewhere in the region of. The sounds that you create from them are amazing. Because you get your basic drone that you play, and you need what you call circular breathing to be able to breathe in effectively through your nose and out through your mouth at what might seem like the same time. But you've actually got a gap where you're storing air in your cheeks, almost like a pair of bagpipes, and you're helping to keep that sound going in that effectively that circular motion. And you're just creating lots and lots of different sounds, so you can create that basic tone. You can then bark down the didge like a dog would. You can talk down the didgeridoo, and all those different sounds and lilts and frequencies will affect the body in a different way. So you might have a didgeridoo set at a specific note, but as you go off on these other little bits, whether it be talking or barking or whatever it is that you're doing down the didge, creating these sounds, they are subtle different notes and subtle different frequencies that will help the body on that healing level and that overall well-being level across the board.
Beautiful, beautiful, brother. And so going forward onto the Native American flute.
Yeah.
Tell us a bit about that.
So the Native American flute, incidentally, I will play the didge in a little while as well. So you'll hear the didgeridoo as part of this in a short while. But I've got a couple of native flutes. One which is just a singular tube, and the other one, which you might not be able to see that so well, but if I zoom in slightly, you can see that it's double barreled. So this one, when it's played, you've got two holes at the top, and one for the standard tone, and the other one is the drone. They, again, as with the didgeridoo, they are just beautiful instruments to play. They take you on a deep journey. They're obviously native, as in Native American, Native Indian instruments, traditionally. And note, so this one is in the note of C with the drone, and you'll hear a tiny little bit. So it's a very gentle, calming and relaxing instrument. Just gentle, smooth flow to it, and beautiful to play again.
Beautiful. Thank you. How was that for you, Chris Adams?
I always like that one. The dual note. Very nice.
Beautiful, man.
You got very easily there, Chris.
It was a nice look. I was just like, oh.
Gorgeous,
So
gorgeous.
going on to the shamanic drum, Christian.
Shamanic drum, yes. I'm just going to have to get up out of the screen slightly here and pick it up. I've had it just warming in the sun a little bit. So that's my shamanic drum and the beater. This one is 12 inches in diameter, and an absolutely beautiful instrument. It's made of, in this case, made of goat skin, and I handmade it myself back in July of last year, and also had bound it into the back of it a beautiful shamanic dream stone as well, a dream journeying stone. It's absolutely amazing. It's absolutely beautiful. The shamanic drum, as explained a little bit earlier, is an instrument that takes you so deeply into that journey, into that state of the delta frequency, especially. So the delta frequency being the area where you are in the deepest of sleep and rest and relaxation. It's the area where you are able to experience the most powerful sense of healing for the body. It's where the body is able to heal and repair itself. The shamanic drum will take you down into that state very readily. It's the resonance of it again that really just helps to take you onto that, into that journeying state of mind. So if I do a tiny bit on that. So, one of the instruments that, again, I love to use as part of my sessions, and you really deeply, you might not get it across in this respect quite so easily, but the vibration that you feel from these instruments when they're played live in the room are just absolutely phenomenal. The resonance and vibration that you get takes you so deeply into that state of relaxation and healing.
Beautiful, brother. So we've got a lot of instruments to go through, and we're kind of pushing for time at the moment. So did you want to give us a 10-minute demonstration?
I can give a 10-minute demonstration with some of the other instruments. I mean, some of the others that I have are things like handpan and tank drum and koshi bells. The koshi bells are absolutely stunning to play. I will bring those in the actual taster. They are tuned to the elements, so it's earth, air, fire and water, and they affect your lower chakras primarily. So they are, again, just beautiful, tranquil instruments to listen to and to play. So, yeah.
Beautiful. So, yeah, if you want to give us a 10-minute journey before we close the space to kind of get us into the day and get us into our own space before we go and enjoy the sunshine.
Yes, absolutely. Looking forward to getting out into that sunshine myself as well. So, right, okay. So I will be dipping out of the screen at this point.
No problem.
In order to reach the instruments that I have in the space. So, if you just close your eyes, take a deep breath. Recognizing for a moment the silence, stillness. Allow that stillness to become a part of you, and allow yourself to just be.
What a way to end the show. Oh, that was beautiful, man. Thank you. It really was. The instrument you used before the handpan, what's it called?
So the instrument just before the handpan that you saw visually in the image there was the bell.
That's the one. That brought me into childhood memory of,
beautiful.
Hearing that. Beautiful. So Christian, how can people get a hold of you before we say goodbye?
So they can get in touch with me by either visiting my website, which is www.soundjourneybychristian.co.uk, or they can get in touch with me via my Facebook page, which you just need to go onto Facebook and just search for @SoundJourneyByChristian. Then through there they can contact me via Messenger, or they can find my number to give me a call, or you can contact me via email, which is sound.journeybychristian@gmail.com. I am also on Instagram and LinkedIn, and I also have a channel on YouTube, so I would love it if you popped along to there and subscribed, liked, and check out some of my videos.
Well, we'll have all your contact details below on here, so it'll be all on the screen as well in the start for those who want to see it at the start of the show. Chris will pop it on the bottom bit, all your details. So, that was beautiful, man, and it's so nice, Christian, to hear your perspective and your wisdom on sound therapy. You do have a beautiful talent, and it's great to be able to connect with you and see how far you've grown as a person and how far your business has come. So it's an absolute honour to share this space with you. Thank you for joining us. How are you doing, Chris?
Yeah, good.
It's so funny because there's two Chris's. It's like I have to say Chris Adams, Chris. How are you doing, Chris?
Yeah, good, man. Good.
Good.
That was amazing, Chris. Thank you, man. Great to hear from you again, brother. Hope everything is good.
Aye. Just get along to my sessions on live online.
Yeah.
Every fortnight. Next one's 31st of May.
Thank you. Thank you, Christian. So we'll end the show, and I'd like to thank everyone who is watching and for all your support. If you do like what you hear, please click the subscribe button and comment or share. I really appreciate your feedback, and I'd like to thank again my wizard co-host Chris Adams for your help. Thank you so much, brother, and thank you, Christian, for joining us.
Thank you, Dale. Thank you, Chris. It's been amazing to be part of this, and do make sure you click and subscribe to Dale's as well. It's phenomenal.
Bless you.
Brilliant.
Thank you, brother. Take care.
Bye-bye.